So you'd want to turn around the other way.
All right, which way do we go? All right.
Do you see how we align on our faces now?
Ah, this is really good. So this is my first regular substantive eye interaction video. We could actually say the date because, what is the date? It's the 24th. 24th of September. And I'm going to talk to you about what's happening in Fiction 104. And this is my son, Maddock, and his partner, Scout.
Hello.
And we are at PNCA, Pacific Northwest College of Art. And there's Maddock's view from his dorm. You can transfer here, as Maddock did, from Lynn Benton Community College. All right, this is that dorm that we're headed to.
This is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm doing. But we're really talking about the writing of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie this week. She's a great writer. I don't mean to make my regular substantive interaction a commercial for Pacific Northwest College of Art, but the dorms are awesome. My son went to LBCC for 2 years, transferred here. He'll be graduating this year. Willamette University purchased this. It's really great. They're improving the area all the time. It's really remarkable. But allow me to get back to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and the work that we're going to be looking at. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is a Nigerian writer who published Apollo, which is the first short story we're all going to be reading this week. And she published that in the New Yorker, which, as destinations for short stories to go, pretty much establishes a kind of, there's a substance here. There has to be a lot going on in a short story for it to appeal to the publishers of the New Yorker. And Apollo functions on that level in so many ways. We're going to talk about the symbolism in it. You'll see it, but notice the actual kind of produce. Apollo is an illness that people can get in their eyes, and it creates kind of a bizarre excretion from the eyes. And that might be symbolic. The fact that it is affecting the eyes is also symbolic that people's vision is cloudy. So watch out for those kind of symbolic moments. And this might well be the very first time that you've tried to read more deeply into fiction. So take your time, be kind to yourself. Notice that kung fu and nunchucks also sort of become a symbolic feature of, sort of a secondary B plot. There's sort of an A plot that has to do with caste and, sort of who has power and who has none. Some other of my videos will talk about that, but that's often a main theme in fiction about the power dynamics that people share, especially inside of families, outside of families. Watch that. And then there's another story we're going to be looking at this week called A Private Experience, which has to do also with power, and in different ways. The way that A Private Experience deals with power is, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but you'll notice that there are these two characters, each of whom has to run from a potentially lethal situation. But when we meet them, we realize that they come almost from two different worlds. And this is the theme of caste appearing in this story as it appears in Apollo. So watch the similarities between these two stories. Watch the differences. Watch the questions about who wants what from whom. I feel like that question, as we explore fiction and begin to analyze it, if you're always looking at this question, who wants what from whom, And that's sort of like your key to unlocking more doors. So this is my first regular, substantive interaction. And by regular, it means that you're going to be getting one of these videos, or at least a note that is like this in the course from me once a week. I happen to, by the way, be at Powell's Books. You can't really see it. There's a Powell's Picks. This is Powell's Picks. It's literally like walking distance from PNCA. And you're welcome. Okay. There's a lot of action. I was trying to hold the door for somebody, which I managed to do anyway. So this is Powell's, perhaps one of the greatest bookstores in Portland. It's not, I mean, it is the greatest bookstore in Portland. It's probably the greatest bookstore in Oregon. Very wonderful place. I've never actually videotaped inside. Somebody will probably tell me not to, but I'm just doing it by way of saying that, thank you, literature is around us everywhere. And this is a great place to come looking. Remember, one of the sub-themes of my course and our regular substantive interaction is to just fall in love with it. Fall in love with asking questions. I'm back out here. I'm moving west from Powell's, thinking about Apollo and a private experience and my students and how this is our first week getting into fiction. And I realized that it's not much of an interaction unless I ask you a question. So here's my question. It's easy. Nobody has to have read anything. Obviously, this is the first video for this term that is brand new like this. So I'll just ask, what school are you thinking of going to? Since I mentioned PNCA, which is now owned by Willamette. What are your goals? I know that you're probably required to take the fiction class, and you may not be headed to the university, but talk about your degree. Talk about why you're here.